APC National Chairman Adamu told to hold emergency meeting with party governors Sunday amidst Naira crisis. CBN makes U-turn, denies giving directives to banks to accept old 500 and 1,000 Naira notes. Internally displaced persons in Katsina without permanent voter cards a few days to elections. And on the foreign scene, Ghanaian footballer Atsu's body found under rubble as death toll tops 45,000 in Turkey-Syria quakes. Hello and welcome to your Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. The All Progressives Congress has summoned an emergency meeting of all governors elected under its platform. A statement issued by the party's publicity secretary, Felix Moka, on behalf of the national chairman, says the meeting will hold at the party's national secretariat in Abuja on Sunday by 2 p.m. The meeting may not be unconnected with the ongoing Naira crisis in the country, where the governors have gone on confrontation with President Muhammadu Buhari over the Naira redesign policy that is impoverishing the masses and putting the party in bad light of the public. It is believed that Sunday's meeting is meant to make the hardline governors who took the presidency to court over the policy to shift ground and probably withdraw the case against Buhari and the CBN at the Apex Court. Meanwhile, the Central Bank of Nigeria has denied media reports suggesting that the Apex Bank directed commercial banks to accept old 500 and 1,000 Naira notes. A statement signed by Osita Wasiobi, the Director, Corporate Communications, said the President's broadcast directed CBN only to reissue and recirculate the old 200 Naira as legal tender until April 10th, asking members of the public to disregard contrary information. Reports on Friday had it that the Central Bank of Nigeria had asked banks to start collecting old 500 and 1,000 Naira notes from customers, stating that any amount above 500,000 could not be deposited. Now, many traders in Kano find it difficult to swap old Naira notes with the new ones at the Central Bank office in the state. And many who came for the purpose were told to deposit their monies at commercial banks after spending hours on the queue. The report.
This man said he brought about 5 million Naira cash for the swap, but was referred to Internet Cafe, where he was told that the portal is currently undergoing maintenance.
Zuwa CBN kudin mu za a karba kuma mun zo mun yi an ce sai mun je kafe kuma yana nuna is under maintenance gani da kudi wajen miliyan 5 na rasa yadda zan yi da su. Tun yaushe ka zo can? Mu dai muna fama da wannan rashin canji.
After spending several hours, they told us to go back to our banks, that is those that are with 500,000 Naira and below. We are all angry. This is all I have. Government is not fair to us. I have 160,000 Naira and I'm ready to collect 150,000 Naira. I have been here for so long. There is God. That is all that I will say to the government. This trader, however, is still accepting old Naira notes from his customers to ease their difficulties. Despite President Buhari's directive to CBN to release old 200 Naira back to circulation, scarcity of the Naira is biting harder in the state.
Meanwhile, normalcy has returned to Lagos communities after protests against the rejection of old notes turned violent. Residents protested rejection of old Naira notes by traders and commercial drivers. Let's take a look.
The violent protests broke out in some parts of Lagos State Friday morning over Naira scarcity. At Mile 12, a popular international foodstuff market along Ikorodu, protesters blocked the road and set bonfires, making computers trap. Eyewitness account says there was pandemonium as many civil servants as possible and those going outside Ikorodu had to make a U-turn for fear of being hit. The protesters demand the rejection of the old Naira note by traders. Some of the traders at Mile 12 market say scarcity of the new Naira note and the rejection of the old 500 Naira and 1,000 naira note ignite the protest.
We all are hustling for this leg of this my 12, mostly this leg my 12. We went to bank did not collect this money, this old money. So, and this money is too much for this my 12, mostly in this my 12. This is one of the things that cause problem this morning. Because when you give the conductor, doctor say no collect, and from there fight begin to happen for this money because of this old money. This money is too much outside. We are begging people, our leaders, to sustain the date of this money because this money is too much for our hand. People are carrying money up and down for this my 12 to buy foodstuffs. No way. People are hungry this my 12 this morning. We are walking up and down this morning. No way to spend this money. This money is too much for our hand. Please, we are begging Nigeria, our leaders, let them sustain this date. Even 2 days or 3 days, please. Please, because we are going to vote. And we dey hungry and voting that day. We can't dey hungry and vote.
Some of the transporters also voiced out their pains on the low circulation of the new note in the country.
We are going to apply and beg the various governments. My name is Minister for Women Affairs in this area. I'm begging you, I'm members of the Lagos State Parking Manager Garage. And I'm begging the federal government to allow this Lagos State and federal government of Nigeria to be peace. If they want to do fair election, they are nowhere to do it without themselves. Buhari himself know the way they take him to enter the federal government of the nation. When he become president, Buhari know. When he going to be a president, Buhari know the way they carry him to that place. Should please help us. Any kind of election you have in Lagos State, in Nigeria, should be fair election. We are not dragging out of election. We are not supporting anybody. We are supporting Nigeria. We are pleasing him. Let the sovereignty be calm down. We are sovereign in Nigeria. We are pleasing you. Help us let the federal government of Nigeria to know we are sovereign.
This morning, the thing wey happen this morning for my 12, I collect this morning for yesterday night. For my passenger, I be driver. I wan use this morning buy fuel inside village station this morning. They did not collect am. How you want me to use am? Say make I go to where I be, make I cook am for a pot. Make I eat am. Wetin government make we chop now? We dey suffer now. Na my chop we dey now. We wan buy something. Yes, na my chop we dey now. We wan buy something. We no see anything buy. Money dey for our hand now. Money dey for our hand now. You no see how to spend am. Wetin you use am to make am for? No go cook am abi.
Anti-riot policemen and soldiers have been deployed to various flashpoints while the Commissioner of Police, Idowu Owonwa, has been going round the trouble spot. Residents, however, urge the federal government to allow the use of both the old and the new Naira note pending the resolution of the pending case at the Supreme Court.
And the currency scarcity occasioned by the Naira redesign policy is taking a toll on small businesses in Abuja. Trust TV's Kabir Lawal spoke to skillful workers on how they are coping with the cashless policy that has made it difficult for people to feed themselves and their families.
Since the release of new Naira note into circulation, many businesses suffered from scarcity of new notes. But matters became worse when other businesses refused to collect the old notes, leaving people with no option other than using electronic payment platforms or the new Naira notes that are increasingly difficult to get. While many believe that it is just a matter of time, some said the policy has made them lose customers.
It's been really tough, man. I think these days we are really getting it tough in the sense that it's still affecting our work and businesses. Weekend like this, normally people full here, but nowadays they are scanty because of the scarcity of cash.
This morning, I went to POS to collect 1,000 naira. I swear to God who made me. There's no money. I'm grounded totally. People came to do transfer to withdraw the money. It's not available. They are creating avenue for people to buy food. Are you telling me now if I remain like this till election day, somebody will come to me, I will not collect money? They are creating somebody that doesn't feed well, and you see somebody that bring money to him, they will collect.
They affect me now. They affect me well now.
How?
So I know the business know that if you give person account number, you know if he transfer for me now. Because network there now.
Because there are no money floating as it flowed before. Before if somebody buy 100 naira, give 100 naira, or buy 1,000, give 1,000. But now he has to transfer. He's not able to get a bank account. They are affecting me.
They complained that the electronic transfer often failed due to network issues, thereby rendering their businesses helpless.
Most of my customers come, they are requesting for transfer. In as much as I still collect the transfer, though, the network don't seem to be effective on it.
This clothes, I bought it to transfer money. The owner just released the clothes to me based on personal integrity. Because the person knows me. I carry somebody, customer, to the shop to buy clothes. To do transfer, the network is not available. So, in fact, everything just, maybe the government are confused. I don't know.
Small business owners want governments to make the new notes available to make life more meaningful to Nigerians. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And to politics now, where the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Yusuf Datti Baba Ahmed, has challenged Nigerians to hold them responsible if they fail to secure and unite the country if given the opportunity in the forthcoming elections. Baba Ahmed addressed a conference in Abuja on Friday. Noel Sampson reports.
Sought to preside over the affairs of the country in 2019 under the platform of PDP, but lost the party ticket to Atiku Abubakar. In 2022, he contested to pick PDP governorship ticket in Kaduna State, but failed and was subsequently picked as Labour Party presidential running mate. Datti Baba Ahmed wants Nigerians to support his new party to win the election, promising not to disappoint if elected.
We have asked Nigerians to hold us responsible if we fail as promised to secure, unite and prosper our dear nation, Nigeria. We have asked them to hold us responsible if we fail to move Nigeria from consumption to production. We have asked them to hold us accountable if we fail to build a 21st century economy propelled by technology, and if we fail to transform the vast arable land in Nigeria, especially northern Nigeria, into the new oil. We will bear the full responsibility if we fail to build the required human capital and skill for the 21st century economy that we live in. Hold us responsible if we fail to cut waste in government and drastically fight corruption, which has permeated every segment and sector of our national life.
He also called on the Independent National Electoral Commission to do the needful so that Nigerians could have free, fair and credible elections.
I therefore sustain the call on INEC to be an impartial umpire and not frustrate the will of the people. I implore security agencies, the police, the military, the DSS, and other uniformed officers to conduct themselves with utmost responsibility and resist the temptation to subvert the will of the people.
He also commented on the raging controversy on Naira redesign policy.
If an elected governor of a constituent part of a sovereign country will give direct instructions to the contrary of what is constitutionally the exclusive preserve of the federal government. Like it or hate it, Buhari's government was duly elected and sworn in. Nigeria is a sovereign state, and currency matters are a sovereign issue.
Baba Ahmed appealed to Nigerians to endure the current Naira scarcity, saying it will soon be a thing of the past. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Still with us on a Trust TV News update. Still ahead. We'll show you how shortage of medical personnel scares patients. Details of this and more after the break.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Or really, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now let's recap our top stories. APC National Chairman Adamu to hold emergency meeting with party governors on Sunday amidst Naira crisis. And CBN makes U-turn, denies giving directives to banks to accept old 500 and 1,000 Naira notes. And moving on to other news. Now, some internally displaced persons in Katsina State are without permanent voter cards. They said they lost their PVCs in a struggle to escape bandit attacks in their communities 4 to 5 years ago. Abdullahi Yamadi speaks to them on how they feel as election day approaches.
This is an unofficial IDP camp in Katsina with people from Jibia, Bazari, Safana, Damusa, and Duzuma local governments. The IDPs made several attempts to register themselves and obtain PVCs, but they were told they are in an unofficial camp, as such, not recognized to participate in any election process. Squatting in uncompleted buildings, not sure of where their next meal will come from, the IDP's future looks bleak. Their voices silenced, and they cannot partake when Nigeria decides in a few days. No one is taking care of us here. Our lives depend on God, but as far as authorities are concerned, we never exist. You can see our children no longer go to school. How do you expect us to vote even if we have PVCs? Anyone you see here is a beggar, and they say a beggar has no choice. My own is prayer for God to choose leaders who can support us and bring peace to guarantee our safety here and in our local communities. But for now, life continues. As early as 7 a.m., many households go out to fetch firewood for sale, while the young ones scavenge to make end meet. They are, however, hopeful that one day peace will return to their local communities to enable them go back home and live a normal life.
Gaskiya lokacin da muka je inda za mu bota skat sai aka ce mana an rufe.
Most of us have to go out and beg for what to eat. If we get breakfast, only God will take care of the next meal. We're only surviving by the special grace of God.
Mafi yawanci dai wasu ba su da shi gaskiya.
They said their prayer is for peace to return and have the Nigeria that was once a place they called home. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And now to health matters, where healthcare delivery in the country has been dealt a severe blow following the increased migration rates of health personnel to other countries in search of greener pastures. Poor remuneration, lack of commensurate welfare package, as well as inadequate infrastructure facilities are among the reasons adduced by medical personnel for the brain drain in their profession. Hamid Oyegbadi reports.
Over the years, doctors and nurses in Nigeria have complained of poor pay compared to what their peers in other countries earn. The World Health Organization recommends a ratio of 1 doctor per 600 patients as against the 1 doctor per 5,000 patients ratio in Nigeria. This has led to serious manpower crisis in most health facilities in the country, with the health workers already being overstretched.
The consequences of present brain drain, the effects are more on our patients because our responsibility is to attend to patients. But now as we have it, we have most of the healthcare centers, most of the health facilities being manned by non-doctors. Because when doctors have migrated, other cadres of health workers have to come in. And that has had effect on our patients. It has increased the mortality rate.
If your best are leaving the country, obviously, you cannot get the best out of the system.
It has negative effect on the practice at the country where majority have checked out of the country. Initially, by WHO standard, we're supposed to have ratio 1:4 patients being cared for in an hospital setup. But now, because of the brain drain, we are having a ratio of 1:60, if not 1:80 now. So it has negative effect.
Though medical brain drain is a global phenomenon, the recent mass migration of medical personnel from Nigeria is worrisome. Babatunde Lekan Olatunji, the chief whip of the Osun State House of Assembly, says government must address the challenge to ensure that the health sector does not crash.
It's a loss to us as a country. If we sacrifice to train great talents and then other nations wait to harvest them. So it's a loss to us. And of course, there's need for us to ensure that the leadership looks into talent, retaining strategies by providing all that is required to make life easy. That of course would justify the fact that these are professionals who are also willing to serve their nation. And then we encourage our doctors to also put the love of their country at heart.
Quality healthcare delivery, stakeholders say, is key to ensuring a healthy nation and productive citizens, and justifies the maxim that health is wealth. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Meanwhile, secondary school students in Osun State have decried the dilapidated state of infrastructure in some public secondary schools in the state. Checks around some schools in the capital reveal that the situation remains a serious source of concern for many students. At NUD Grammar School in Osogbo, the students said their classrooms are not in good condition for learning and appealed to the state government to rehabilitate the school.
Established in 1980, Nawairudin Grammar School, located at Okebale in Osogbo, has produced countless successful individuals from all walks of life. But the 42-year-old school has received little government attention over the years, a situation both current as well as the old students of the school are worried about.
There was a total neglect by the state government in terms of infrastructural development, in terms of maintenance of the school, even in terms of staffing.
Among the issues the students want addressed are the condition of their classrooms, which they said is not conducive for learning, as well as the provision of perimeter fence for the school to stop invasion by hoodlums.
Infrastructure in our school is very bad now. As you can see, the classrooms are not conducive for learning. There are no windows and enough chairs for the students. So we appeal to the state government to please renovate our school.
The situation in our school is very bad. The school buildings are not good at all. See how the school buildings are. So if we appeal to the government, if they can help us to renovate our school.
The school environment is porous and exposes students to danger. We want the state government to fence the school and rehabilitate buildings.
We want government to please provide us chairs, table and other items to make learning conducive for us.
The school is open for a timely intervention by Osun State government in order to save the remaining infrastructure from total collapse. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Meanwhile, a look at the foreign scene now. More than 45,000 people have been killed in the earthquake that struck Turkey and Syria. The death toll is expected to soar, with 264,000 apartments in Turkey destroyed and many still missing in the country's worst water disaster. 11 days after the quake hit, 3 survivors were dug out from the rubble in Turkey on Friday. The death toll in Turkey stands at 39,672, while neighboring Syria has reported more than 5,800 deaths. Syria's toll has not changed for days. Mosques around the world on Friday performed absentee funeral prayers for the dead in Turkey and Syria, many of whom could not receive full burial rites given the enormity of the disaster. And in sports, Ghanaian footballer Christian Atsu has been found dead under the building where he lived in southern Turkey after last week's massive earthquake. The ex-Chelsea winger's Turkish agent said. Atsu had been scheduled to fly out of southern Turkey hours before the quake hit, but Hatayspor's manager said on Friday the Ghanaian opted to stay with the club after scoring the game-winning goal in the February 5th Super League match. The 31-year-old secured Hatayspor a 1-0 win over Kisimpasa by scoring only seconds before the final whistle. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.